Are you struggling with stringing sentences together in German? Do you feel like it takes forever to figure out the right word order before you can say it out loud? You're definitely not alone. Many beginners face these challenges, and in this video, we'll take a closer look at German sentence structure and simplify it for you. By the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of how it all works, and with just a few straightforward rules, you'll see that it's really not that complicated. If you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Salome. I'm a native German teacher from the wonderful Taunus region near Frankfurt, and I specialize in helping total beginners go from absolutely zero knowledge to a confident and conversational level. I do that through my online program, the German Fluency Academy, that covers A1 all the way up to B1 all in one place. You can take the first workshop for free. The link is in the description box below if you are interested to learn more. So, what are some of the important rules when it comes to the German sentence structure? Let's start with simple statement sentences. The most important rule you'll need to remember about German statement sentences is that the verb goes on position 2 of the sentence. Here's an example. Ich lese ein Buch. I read a book. Lesen, to read, is the verb here. It is placed on position 2, and in this example, it's the same structure as in English. Ich lese ein Buch. I read a book. So far, so good. Now, where most people get confused is when they're adding more words to a sentence and they continue to translate the English sentence into German or the other way around, word for word. For example, if I want to say, in the evening, I read a book. In the evening is am Abend in German. This is where you can't translate the sentence word for word. Remember what I said earlier about the verb? The verb needs to go on genau, position 2. So if am Abend is position 1, it needs to be followed by the verb lese, to read. So in this example, it would be am Abend lese ich ein Buch. In the evening, read I a book. I know in English we would never say it like this, but the sentence structure in German is a lot more flexible. And an important side note here, a position can consist of multiple words. So for example, am Abend is position 1, lese is position 2, ich is position 3, and then ein Buch is position 4 in this example. Okay, so far, so good. Another part that can be quite confusing is, as I've mentioned earlier, in German, the sentence structure is a lot more flexible. So I can make different variations of the sentence as long as the verb goes second. So for example, I can also say, ich lese am Abend ein Buch, or ein Buch lese ich am Abend. This depends on which information I want to give first or want to emphasize on. I'll give you different scenarios so you can understand it a little bit better. For example, you're discussing with a group of people who reads in the evening and you want to emphasize on the fact that you read. Then ich becomes the most important part of the sentence and therefore goes first. Or let's say the group is discussing when everyone is reading a book. In that situation, am Abend becomes the most important information that would go first. Does that make sense so far? If it does, please put ergibt Sinn in the comments below. And if you're wondering by now how you can study German with me personally, the perfect way to start is by joining my free taster lesson for beginners. We will dive much deeper into the intricacies of the German language. Pronunciation, daily life conversations, effective learning strategies, and a lot more. You can find the link to join my free taster lesson in the description box below. Alright, so now that we have covered statement sentences, let's also dive into the structure of questions. In German, we have two types of questions, the so-called W-Fragen, which are questions that start with a question word, and yes and no questions. Those don't have a question word. Let's take a look at the W-Fragen or W questions first. By the way, they are called W-Fragen because all of the question words in German start with a W. Like for example, wie, was, wer, wo, warum, etc. So W-Fragen start with the question word first, and then we can apply the same that we have learned previously about the statement sentences. The verb goes on position 2. Zum Beispiel, for example, wo ist die Toilette bitte? Where's the toilet, please? Or wie heißt das auf Deutsch? What's that called in German? So it's the W word, the question word, the verb, the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. For yes and no questions, we don't have a question word. We just simply put the verb on position 1, then it's the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. Zum Beispiel, for example, lernst du Deutsch? Do you learn German? Ja oder nein? Or kommst du aus den USA? Are you from the States? Ja oder nein? Now, if you're still with me, good for you, because now we will dive into the more interesting part of sentence structure in German using conjunctions. And if you don't know what conjunctions are, no worries. Those are basically words like but, although, that, that's why, and so on that help you tie two sentences into one and add more nuance to your sentence. In German, they are a bit tricky because they rearrange the sentence structure against what we have just learned about simple statement sentences. Good news though, there are patterns that you can learn to help you build those sentences so that it doesn't feel like stringing words together in a random order, okay? So let me explain. The first category of conjunctions that we will discuss are the ones that push the verb to the end of the sentence. So for example, conjunctions like weil, which means but, das, wenn, and obwohl push the verb to the end of the sentence. Here are a few example sentences and pay attention to the position of the verb. Ich lerne Deutsch, weil ich in Deutschland wohne. I learn German because I live in Germany. In the first part of the sentence, everything remains as we have learned initially. Ich lerne Deutsch. I learn German. Verb is on position 2. Now we're adding because I live in Germany. And since weil, because, is a conjunction that pushes the verb to the end of the sentence, wohne needs to go all the way to the end. So it's Ich lerne Deutsch, weil ich in Deutschland wohne. I learn German because I in Germany live, basically. And the same applies for das, wenn, and obwohl. Zum Beispiel, ich denke, dass Deutsch sehr wichtig ist. I think that German is very important. Same here. Das pushes ist to the end of the sentence. Or, ich mache gern Sport, wenn ich Zeit habe. I like doing sports when or if I have time. So habe is my verb here. It needs to go to the end because of the conjunction wenn. Ich lerne gern Deutsch, obwohl es schwierig ist. I like learning German, although it is difficult. Give this video a like if you agree. The second category of conjunctions is placed on position 2 of the sentence. This means that according to what we have learned about statement sentences, the verb will be in the second position following the conjunction. Those are conjunctions like, for example, deshalb, which means that's why. Zum Beispiel, ich wohne in Deutschland, deshalb lerne ich Deutsch. I live in Germany, that's why I learn German. So deshalb is a conjunction that needs to be put on position 1, and then it's followed by the verb on position 2, which is lerne in this case. The last category of conjunctions don't change the sentence structure at all. Yes, that's right, they don't impact the sentence order because they are considered position 0. Those are conjunctions like denn or aber. So let's take a look at the example from earlier. I learned German because I live in Germany. Earlier we used weil, the verb got pushed to the end of the sentence. Now we'll use denn, which also means because, and absolutely nothing will change. So it's ich lerne Deutsch, denn ich wohne in Deutschland. I learned German because I live in Germany. In fact, that is the exact structure like in the English sentence. Easy, right? Or here is an example with but, also aber in German. Deutsch ist schwer, aber es macht Spaß. German is difficult, but it is fun. You did it! You've just learned about the sentence structure in German, and I hope you found it easy to follow and understand. If you want to learn more, I invite you to join me inside the German Fluency Academy, which is my signature online program where I guide absolute beginners all the way to an intermediate B1 level. The best way to get started is by signing up for my free trial lesson, and at the end of the session, I'll explain the next step on how you can join our amazing community inside the German Fluency Academy. I would love to have you there. The link to register for my free trial class is in the description box below. I can't wait to help you on your journey to becoming confident and conversational in German. Das ist alles für heute. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!